That's right. I'm here. See, I'm getting really tired of this, and all these little side shots you've been making for the past 2 weeks. Let me tell you something. You walking stereotype. You are a fat woman who sit there and talk a lot of shit, but yet you got nothing else to back it up with. See, now I wish I could do this live stream from Gab. There is a website called Gab, right? And you know what? I'm gonna start doing my live streams on Gab. And the reason why I'm gonna do my live streams on Gab because I gotta cook some people. I gotta cuss them out the way I want to cuss them out. But you got this fat necked helper going to sit up there though and make up a lie and making things up as you go. No, baby, you're not making things up. No, you're 7 years old. You're fat. But your neck look like biscuits and gravy. Hold on. Your neck look like unbaked biscuits, and you sound like you are drowning in gravy. And that is real talk and real truth about the matter. You put your mouth on me too many damn times. And you what? 50? What? How old are you? 50 years old? Don't know a damn thing. How can I be a 50-year-old person don't know a damn thing? You biscuit necked, biscuit throat helper. You send them over there making these videos, talking out of both ends out of your neck. And thank God I downloaded some of your videos. That's right. I downloaded some of your fucking videos. You know why? I downloaded them? Because I knew that you was on some fuck shit. You was on some fuck shit, and I called your ass out. You want to sit there and make a video about me and Sargon Akkad. You don't even know what issues I have between me and Sargon. You don't even know what issues between me and Angry Man. But here is you bringing your fat, busted ass on into the comment section trying to start some shit. Trying to make it about something else. Sit your old ass down somewhere and have several of seats. See, I'm gonna tell you something. If you call yourself a reporter, right? You call yourself a YouTube reporter, then shouldn't you do some interviews before you put your opinion on somebody? Shouldn't you interview people, do some Google Hangouts, invite people in and know why a person had these thoughts? Have that ever occurred to you? You fat necked helper. That you are a walking stereotype. And the only reason why you defended Angry Man because that's what you used to. You used to somebody that talk. You think manhood and masculinity is somebody beating on their chest and talking about, oh, they're men. Again, you don't even know what my beef with Angry Man is about anyway. You stupid ass helper. Now, I'm gonna drop the link in the description box. I'm gonna drop this link because I'm telling you right now. If I see one more video that had my name in, if I hear my name in anywhere, I'm going to war. Facts. I'm going to war. Keep my name out your mouth. Nobody wasn't talking to you. One minute though, you saying though I was defending black women. Then in the next you saying though I'm bashing black women. Make up your mind up. If you knew my issue with Sargon was about Sargon's video about black women, about defending black women. But guess what? You took that to mean that I'm bashing black women. See, what you need to do is go straight to hell with that. But yet though I am a sissy. According to you, I'm a sissy. Get your ass up in Google Hangout. Because I'm getting tired of you. I'm getting tired of some of you people on here who like to just open your mouth up and just lie about people all the damn time. Y'all just lie. And then y'all try to make this about truth. Oh, I'm just telling the truth as I see it. No. If you was talking about the truth, then you should do some more fact finding and research before you open your mouth talking about folks. And you gonna sit there though and say, oh, I blocked Big J Triple X. Yeah. You blocked him. But guess what? If you blocked him, why are you still talking about the nigga then? If you blocked Big J, why are you still talking about him? Can you explain that one to me? You fat necked. I forgot this is YouTube because you know what? I'm gonna start streaming on Gab. I'm going to have to go on Gab, stream on Gab because I really got to cook somebody like I really want to cook them. See what you want. You think that a black man should be Pookie and Ray Ray. That's your problem. You want black men to be Pookie and Ray Ray. Hold on, let me go on my let me look this up on my channel. I put the link in, but I better not. She better not say a damn thing to me anymore because nobody was not paying attention to her fat ass. And if you are a black man and if you defend Pookie and Ray Ray, you are part of the problem. If you are a black man and you are defending hold on. Hold on. Something's not even right. Hold on. I'm gonna check this out. Let me check this out for a minute. Hold on. Let me see how many people watching. I don't even care if nobody watch. I'm just going to cook this a piece of trash, saying some stupid ass shit and talking about, well, you black men, y'all don't have no kids, y'all don't have no woman. Wait a minute. Time out on this. So you criticize black men for not having kids, not being married, but when I see your fat bubbling ass, you said you don't have no kids. Now hold on, wait, hold on. You've been married for how long? Tell me something. How come you don't have no kids? Explain that shit to me. Explain that one to me. You don't have no kids? Explain that to me. While you talking about another man, while you talking about somebody else, a man's dick, a man who is not your husband's penis, where is your kids at? Oh, you don't got none. So how about you shut the hell up? See, some men on here don't have kids by choice. Had that ever occurred to you, idiot? Had that occurred to you, fool? That some people don't want to have kids. That some people don't want to have kids based upon the choices of women that have to come accustomed with. Some men, like myself, always see single mothers. I refuse to date, marry single mothers. Some men are like that. Have that ever occurred to you, fat neck? Did it? No. Ask the question. Did it occur to you, fat ass? You fat biscuit naked helper? Did that occur to you? Oh, Cynthia G is right. No, Cynthia G been wrong. Cynthia G have been wrong about. Hold on. Hold on. Let me cut this video off. Cynthia G has been wrong about 85%.
What I'm about to do an admonishment. Some people need to call for past about their hypocrisy. There's one thing I cannot stand, that is hypocrisy.
Putting out pictures out. Hold on. You putting out pictures out of fat ass. Hold on. You sit there gonna call me a damn sissy. Call me gay. Call me all these stupid ass names, right? But look at what you did. You put up Cleaver, a Black Panther who had raped black girls, who had raped black girls in his youth, but yet I'm a sissy, but yet you put this image of this Negro to say that's a real black man and Big J isn't. How about you shut the hell up, you roll-necked heifer? It makes no sense how you sit there and lie on some damn body. Now the hooded one, you need to go to my go to my other channel, and you'll see who I'm talking about and why I'm doing this hangout. Because I can't stand no lying ass heifers who sit up there and want to play the female card. Oh, because you a woman, I'm supposed to just accept everything you say. I bet my name better not be uttered in your mouth again, because nobody was talking to you, nobody was talking about you, but yet you want to instigate in my shit. What happened between me and Sargon Akkad need to stay in between me and Sargon Akkad. But what I was dealing with him about, you don't even know about. But yet you want to sit there talking about, oh, I'm tag teaming with Sargon, talking about black women. Where in? Do you have ears? Do you got eyes? If you got eyes and ears, something ain't working. What you need to do is take those granny glasses off and get you some better bifocals, or better yet, some trifocals, so you can see what I was talking about. Stupid ass heifer. See, somebody needs to sit there and cook the shit out your ass. Stupid ass heifer. See, somebody needs to sit there and cook the shit out your ass. Who the one? Now, I'm gonna tell this to this fat ass. Well, damn it! I can't even cuss like I want to. I'm gonna have to go on Gab. I'm gonna have to go on Gab and do my live streams on Gab, so I can really cuss this stupid ass heifer ass out like I really want to.
Hold up. Who you talking about though, man?
I ain't saying no names. I'll let her come on here and explain her shit, because like she been sitting there poking and prodding for the last 2 weeks.
Hey, for real though, you talked to Sargon of Akkad?
I've been after Sargon for like the past 2 years. No, nobody don't know. So some of that shit's behind the scenes. I've been after him for 2 years.
I feel you. I feel you. Okay.
But sit there and tell me that I'm teaming up with Sargon to talk about black women. That's not even what I was talking about. I was talking about the misinformation he said about the black community and black women and this, that, and the third. That's what I was.
Fuck Sargon. I mean, straight up. Like, I can't stand that nigga, man. And he calls himself a liberal. Like, I guess over there in Britain or fucking London, wherever the fuck he's at, you know, he's a liberal. But over here, nah.
No, and here is an open secret. I'm gonna give you a secret. Sargon is not white. That's right.
I heard he had a little bit of Negro.
Yeah. Sargon's grandpa, or should I say his great grandpa, is a nigga.
I mean,
so you gonna sit there and talk all that bullshit, Sargon Akkad. Now, I already I knew about his black grandpa for 4 years now. I knew how about his grandpa and shit. Yet though he thinks though that gives him the fucking license to sit there and say all that bullshit when he didn't. That's what he says. He won't prove it. I don't give a shit if he prove it or not. He the one admitted it. He admitted it. He admitted it when old boy Dixon Benjamin Dixon went ahead and called him out about his black grandpa.
Hey, you want to know what's crazy though? I thought you were like on the right. You know, I thought you would like have, I guess, a ideological agreement with Sargon of Akkad. You know what I'm saying? Simply because you both have that right-leaning, you know, political bullshit that you got. But what's your problem with the nigga though? I mean, like, seriously.
No, Sargon he starts a lot of shit. He's a hypocrite, and y'all use that racial shit. He wants to use a race card while. Oh, I'll tell you like this.
Now I understand what you're saying though, because like I got like way back in my family history, like in the 40s and shit. Like my family was all white, but now all of a sudden we all Negroes. You feel me? And
right.
So like I understand what you're saying. That's like me speaking on a white problem as if I was a white man. You know, it's. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he out there talking about black women. I asked him this question in the chat room. No, it wasn't in the chat room. One of his videos, but he keep on ignoring this shit. I said, if you care about black people so much, and if you care about you keep on referring about his black his so-called black grandpa. How come he never made a video about the Windrush issue? He never talked about what happened in Great Britain with the Windrush. Everybody, all these black people in Britain getting threatened to be kicked out.
Hey, I want to talk to Biscuit neck though. Who is that? I mean, like Jesus.
You might know her because she was beefing with Cynthia G.
I mean, a lot of people.
I'll give you a hint. It's a female. It's a fat ass female. He beefed with Cynthia G all the time. Come up, and she came at me. Do not come at me. I told y'all do not come at me because I wasn't talking to you. Wasn't, you know? Well, it seemed like Big J is trying to use Sargon to talk more about black women. Yeah, hey, AK Irony, thank you. Why do I see Vicky in that hood ass Vicky trying to be black, but yet why ain't the alt right ain't call Vicky ass out and tell Vicky to stop quote unquote cooning? Like you ever notice that the alt right never really calls out Vicky and calls out that cash me outside chick. Now I did saw Vicky and cash me outside chick fighting outside, supposedly fighting outside the hotel room. Oh, who is Vicky? Oh my God. Yeah, a trashy white girl who trying her best to be black. She act black, she talk black, and she talk, oh, you see that my sister man, shut the hell up. Oh, Internal says we don't give a fuck about those two degenerates. Internal. Here is the thing, Internal. As a white nationalist, you should care about that. You as a white nationalist should care about that, Internal. I mean, that is your white woman. Why won't you police that white woman and tell her to shut the fuck up and come her dumb ass down?
That's because she's adopted our culture. You know, once a person adopts the black culture, like I guess white nationalists are done with them. You know, they can go over to that side. You know, that's how they feel.
You know, I want to know, what is the white nationalist problem anyway? They're talking about, oh, we out here trying to protect our culture. We're trying to protect the white culture. I'm looking at it and say we are being erased from the Western world. Really? How? Because I look at Mount Rushmore. I don't see not one Negro face on Mount Rushmore. Now, maybe in 50 years, somebody might put out Obama's face on Mount Rushmore or some shit. But for right now, I only see 4 white guys on Mount Rushmore. I can go to any state capital and all the governors. No, well, I wouldn't say all the governors because you do have some black governors, but yet you can sit there and talk about. You can sit there and see statues, and most of these statues are of white men. So I'm just trying to figure out this notion of, oh, our society is going to destroy. It's going to be destroyed. We got to connect to a white identity. No, you got white identity all over the place, over this country. So that comes to hypocrisy of the alt-right and the white nationalists.
You see, they feel threatened because you know, media has been populated by I guess as they would say, Negroes. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, but there's a Muslim issue. And then, of course, you have other races of people coming in who, I guess, have babies at a certain rate that white people don't have them at. And so what white nationalists are trying to do is come together and combat that. But at the same time, Western philosophy is all about, if you look at the history, bringing together all sorts of people. And so what I believe the white nationalists are doing is kind of like retarded. You feel me? They're taking a step backwards from Western philosophy and taking it to some other. Yo, all right, how is it wrong?
Yeah, you know what. I'm going to be in. I really don't want to do this, but let me invite him in. I'm gonna say something internal. I'm gonna say this right now. There better not be no word. I better not hear the word nigger. I better not hear any racial epithet because I will
Nation
bounce
is
your ass
not
out of here.
implicitly tied to race. That is a lie. That is a lie. If you are
Oh,
to
oh,
adopt the Western philosophy, fuck no. Race is not tied to nation. Not at all.
okay, if
You
race
could be
if
Greek
race is tied,
and African at the same time back in the day, 2,000 years ago.
oh, I forgot where I was at. Yeah, okay, I'm at the right. Okay. Oh yeah, and internal. I better not hear. I better not hear the word nigger. I better not hear the word coon. I better not hear she-boon. I better not hear no other racial epithet, or and I better not hear no goddamn uh snarky shit because I will bounce your ass out of here. Now you welcome to join in and share your views, but ain't gonna be bullshit because I'm already got up to heat up to my eyeballs in bullshit.
Hey Jay, what's up?
Internal. You got my rules right.
Yes, I heard you clearly.
Okay,
How you doing,
now
man?
let's.
I'm good. I'll respect your request. That's not a problem.
How is the hooded one wrong? I'm gonna wait on this.
You know, the original definition of a nation include the ethnicity of a people. That's actually what nation means, is a group of ethnic people who share the same values. Now, when it comes to Western philosophy and civilization, that was created in a white context by white philosophers in white nations. So it didn't grow out of a sort of a multicultural system. So when they were making these philosophical arguments, it wasn't within the context of a multicultural, multiracial society. Now, here's the deal. What you can say is that some of the values of those philosophers can apply multiculturally. That you can say. Other cultures or peoples can adopt them and apply them. That you can say.
All right. Well, what I learned about the Roman people, right, is basically that they allowed certain ethnicities to continue to worship their own gods and to basically how can I say this? Govern themselves, but with Roman people in the authority role, right?
Mm.
And so if you want to talk about Western philosophy, there was always some sort of way to, how can I say it? Uh, it's hard to explain, but
Well, as the Roman Empire expanded over the 1,000 years that it existed, it had questions it had to deal with. Now, of course, it began to expand in territories that were traditionally not, let's say, Caucasian. And when you do that, you kind of have a choice at that point. You can commit mass genocide essentially, and then repopulate those areas with your people, or you can sort of adopt well, we'll let you guys do your thing. You join the Roman crew. Here's our values. We'll add some of those into ours, like they did to Christianity. Essentially, they took pagan values and made a pagan Christianity out of it, like Christmas and whatnot. So they did, as they expanded, develop sort of an ideology of a multiculturalism, because it wasn't to their advantage as they expanded, I think, to go about the genocidal route, because that costs a lot of manpower, a lot of money, and it's just easier to sort of expand an ideology and sort of mold and mix in the expansionist ideal, because it's just easier that way. It just is.
and
And
so
it makes for
what I'm
better
saying is
trade
that
and all that.
as Western philosophy evolved from that point, how am I like wrong?
Because essentially in the roots of the ideology, that wasn't the situation. So what they did is they basically mixed and mashed parts of Western philosophy with whatever group that they were encountering. It was sort of like, you know, as things bleed toward the edges, they mix with whatever it's next to, depending on their stance with the people that they're now on the border with. They have an open hospitality. People are going to intermingle and philosophies will mix and they'll adopt some of theirs and vice versa. If they had taken a not such a stance, then it would have been like, we crush you, we force our ideas on you, and they wouldn't have adopted any of them. But in the root of Western philosophy, I mean, all the Greek philosophers, they're all, you know, they're white, pale, ugly looking fuckers, you know, from back in the day. So Western philosophy, okay, so if you want to go to like speaking on philosophy as an egalitarian ideology, right, where it's sort of egalitarian, it crosses all people, all races or whatever, you can make that argument because they weren't really arguing in the sense that about race. They were just making philosophical arguments, you know, logic and reason, and anybody can do that to an extent. But it's not something that grew outside of Western philosophy or people, which were generally white people. But now these days, I mean, like I said, it can apply to anybody if they decide to adopt Western philosophy. But Western culture is something that came out of essentially, you know, the root of it is white culture, white history.
Okay, then please explain to me about. Oh, right, you know what? Better yet, I actually did. Then list down about the top 5 philosophers in Western culture. Then.
Well, that's subjective. I mean, you could go Plato, Homer, Aristotle. I mean, if you want to go to the root, you can go to Zoroaster. And even modern, you know, Nietzsche and Heidegger, and you know, it's subjective. You know, everyone has their favorites.
Zoroaster.
Okay, okay, hold on. Okay, now I see. Like you brought up Nietzsche, right? And Nietzsche is fairly new. He's fairly more modern. But
yeah.
Okay, but what about Saint Augustus?
Sure. So, Aquinas, okay. And, you know, I mean, they're all, you know, that was in a Western context of Christianity and whatnot. And I understand he's black. I'm not saying it's impossible to have a black philosopher. Absolutely not. Wouldn't say that.
Then like, okay, if Saint Augustus is black, he was in Egypt and he went to Egypt and Greece, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So if he's part of Western culture and he's not European or Caucasian, then shouldn't that also be putting? Shouldn't that him and others? Shouldn't that be this proves your point about how the Western culture?
Think about it like this. It wouldn't be fair. Think of it this way. So Africa. In Africa, you have maybe some prominent figures, and say there was one white guy in history who was there among them, who said a couple cool things one time. All of a sudden, that just tears away everything from all the African people, and now it's a white thing too. Like, that's just not fair to do that to people. I wouldn't do that to a black people in Africa because maybe there was a one guy at one point in history who did one thing. I won't negate the fact that he was part of that history. But to say that all of a sudden, because one guy did something that, you know, that just negates everything, that's intellectually not fair.
Okay.
If we're gonna speak on a racial basis here, right, which we are doing, because I think we got to be fair. I wouldn't want to destroy any part of a collective black culture that they built up. Like, I do believe in cultural appropriation, and I do think it's wrong for white people to take away from black people and steal parts of their culture. And I think it's the same works both ways. But that's only if they take an offense to it, right? See, I don't have a personal problem with people borrowing from white culture and philosophy. I think it's great because I think there's a lot that can be learned and advanced from that. But, you know, it's got to go both ways. That's all I'm saying.
okay, hold on. Okay, now you said that right, and that does not because like months ago or so, you favored the an ethno state. So how come your premise that you just said can coincide with your desires for a white ethno state?
Well,
Can you do that?
well, what's wrong with having an ethno state? I don't understand that. Like,
One moment, please. This thing about race and white. Uh, what brand of white are you? Eternal entropy.
What
Are you
you mean, like
Irish or are
ideologically
you
or genetically?
genetically? I guess.
I'm Irish. I'm mixed Irish, English, and Hungarian.
All right. Well, those are distinctly, different peoples. Just
Right.
like I guess the tribes of Africa have different tribes or whatever. One moment, I have something I have to do.
Okay.
Okay. You had like during the early 20th century, you had people like George the guy the leader of France during World War I. Cannot pronounce his last name. You also got Kumo Stahl. That's his name. Wilson and whoever was that British prime minister during the time. They was talking about how the British race or the British stock, the Anglo stock or the Western stock is more desirable than the
Actually,
Mediterranean stock.
excuse me. The English people, they're a mixture of totally different, I guess you can say, white people. They're not all the same.
They're part Gaelic. They're part, original Anglo-Sax mixed with Viking as well.
Like the Anglo-Saxons actually like conquered, England,
Yeah,
and
they have
there were people there before them.
with Nordic roots a lot. Roman and Nordic generally, and Gaelic as well, which is from the Spanish Pyrenees area. Yeah, I mean, you can do that with everybody. You just keep going back, right? Go back 100 years, go back 500. That's the history of everybody. You just keep going back, and you're going to find roots going back and roots going back. But as a people pool together in an area for long enough, they can essentially build their own culture, and their gene pool will mix amongst each other enough to where they become sort of a genetically and ethnically distinct people. And the people in the British Islands, though they may consist of different peoples from the area, they've sort of culminated in that area for over 1,000 years, and their gene pools become distinct over a period of time, and their culture has become distinct. So thus, they've created their own sort of ethnic gene pool. So I do believe the gene pool of Britain is a distinct genetic group, though they might not vary a whole lot, say, from someone from Ireland or someone from, close to the coast of France, let's say. There's probably not a whole lot of difference.
Well, what I'm saying is that these people, they conquered each other, they interbred, blah, blah, blah. And so what's the difference between those people and black people? I mean, like, or even Asians.
Thousands of years of separation is the difference. Just like you have, think of it like a lion. Think of it like a tiger and a lion. Different continents, thousands of years of separation, two different cats. They're both cats, but they are both very distinct in their own ways, and they both have different strategies on adapting to the environments in which they lived in and how to survive. So
but that's supposed to be different, because if you interbreed a tiger and a lion, chances are, if it's a male, he won't be able to pass the seed on, but we're human, and
they can. They're called ligers. Because they weren't separated. Like, if you can be of the same species but be a different subspecies and still have serious differences. but you can still interbreed. Like polar bears can breed with brown bears, you know, but they're still different. They still have their own, like one has larger paws because it's adapted to the snow, so it has to have a larger area so they can walk on the snow and stuff, and compared to the brown bear, which has smaller paws because they're generally found in the woods and stuff. These are the adaptive traits that they have to the environments that they lived in and were separate from each other for so long, so they evolved differently. That's all.
Okay. I kind of see this conversation about to drift into an IQ racial.
It doesn't have to. I'm just saying there are differences, you know. And black people, I don't want black people to live in a situation that they don't want to and is not beneficial for them. And I don't want the same for whites. If white people want to live around black people, that's fine. I just think there should be a place for white people that only want to live with white people. Just like something like Africa or other nations in China, where they have immigration policies that maintain their country 99% ethnically pure. Very normal thing throughout the world. But if white people want to do this, it's the most racist thing on planet Earth, apparently. And it's wrong, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think that's just ridiculous.
Can you repeat that? I was away because you said something about white. If it was only white people do wrong, something like what was that all about?
Yeah, essentially, if white people want to have their own country and just be around white people and leave it exclusively for white people, that's apparently wrong. But if China wants to stay Chinese and Japanese wants to stay Japanese, that's okay. And Africa wants to stay, essentially black, and South Americans, essentially Inuit or whatever. That's always okay. Those are ethno-states, my man. Those are real world ethno-states, existed for a long time. But when white people talk about this and want to do this for themselves, that's, Nazi, KKK fucking bullshit, right? Because there's a double standard. That's the propaganda. White people are not allowed to self-determine anymore because of Nazi Germany, apparently. Because apparently if white people want to do that, it's going to be World War III every time, which is just nonsense.
No, but okay. I want you to hear me out in turn. We had discussed this before. Now, it's unfair for you to use Japan and China and parts of Africa, and to say, well, these nations were ethno-states, and you're absolutely correct. Like especially Japan, because they refuse to. It's hard to go. It's hard to travel to Japan or China. So having said that,
the Japanese are xenophobic, but at the same time, they do allow people to gain citizenship and blah blah blah. You have your Japanese women who will allow or who are attracted to other types of men. You know what I'm saying? It's not
right,
it's not as bad as you think it is. Now in North Korea, maybe what he's saying is correct, but in other places, not so much.
The amount of people that most countries take in is not any type of threat to their ethnic pool. It's not enough to make a threat to where over 100, 200, 500 years that those people will no longer be essentially who they were for thousands of years.
Okay,
but the difference is that in European countries, they adopted a philosophy where they were inclusive of other cultures. Now, the Japanese, the North Korean,
that's a misnomer. They did not adopt that. That was forced upon them by the European Union, a group of oligarchs that they didn't vote for that forced those policies into their countries, and that's why they're angry. They did not ask for that.
Okay, but here is the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, you are absolutely right, Hooded One, but yet though you're not looking at it deep enough. Look at if you got a citizen who comes to here to America or Canada, that person pays the same amount of taxes. I'm using theoretically they paid the same amount of taxes. But if you go to Japan or China or Korea, you can't own property. It's going to be there are extra layers of things you have to go through to get you a piece of to own a car or a piece of land.
The truth is, they just don't want
It's like
Brazilians and I guess certain African country people who are from certain African countries. But if you're from America or you're from Europe or somewhere, like you're fine. But the issue is they have problems with people from South American countries and Africa. You know what I'm saying? And
I know a black
Right.
guy who's in Japan right now who has citizenship, and he's created a mobile app to help get Japanese people to date each other.
yeah. And
Okay, and the argument I'm trying to make is this: is the whole ethno state is that okay? And the nations that are in the eastern world, or should I call the old world, right? Those nations been ethno state by human development for the past 10,000 years or so. But over here in the new world, whether it's Canada on down to Argentina, you can't create an ethno state will not be successful in the new world because
It could be. It's just it probably likely won't form anytime soon. But just to say that white people couldn't form an ethno state, they did plenty of times. I mean, that's just not true.
No, but any group cannot form an ethno state. It would
Theoretically, any group could, Jay. Theoretically, any group could. If you're gonna say that, you have to
that's if
explain
we didn't
why.
have the
You have to
internet
explain why.
and international shipping and fucking airplanes. Yeah, you could create an ethno state. But now that we have these things, like those old ethno states are just archaic. That's exactly what they are.
So you're saying the majority of the
icon.
world actually, you're saying the majority of the world actually is archaic because what you guys are talking about is not the majority of the world. The majority of the world right now exists in an ethno state fashion.
All right. So Europe is an ethno state.
Most of European nations up until about 15 years ago were very pure ethno states. Yes.
I can't agree with that. But
Genetically, that's just true.
they still
like-
had immigrants and they still, you know.
Yeah, in small amounts, not in any type of proportion that was of any significance. That's my point. Just because you have 2% population of Turks or 3% population of North, that doesn't even matter. It's so insignificant. We're talking about the 97. We're talking 95, 97% of a country is, say, Slavic. Those are Slavic people. You know what I'm saying? Africa, any country in Africa, I'm sure every country in Africa has a small percentage of some people from somewhere. That doesn't mean that's not a black nation.
Blacks in America.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, America, yeah, the demographics are certainly changing. Yes.
What's the percentage of blacks in America?
13%, I believe.
All right. What's the percentage of whites in America?
Down to about somewhere between 70 and 60. I think this is closer to
69. It's 69% white.
Yeah,
Right.
rapidly changing.
And you see the size of our country, and of course our history, we had slaves here, and so like what's the problem? Like you're still in a predominantly white country.
Well, that's not going to be that way going into the future.
No, okay. What do you think? Hold on. Internal. What do you happen in the future? Because you and Pax keep talking about this. This is going to happen. And
well, here's what I'll tell you. You look at Mexico. Mexico is Mexico because it has Mexicans in Mexico. You bring in a bunch of Mexicans into America, America's going to become Mexico.
I mean,
I don't
America.
I don't want America to become Mexico.
Have you ever went to Texas? Like America, a vast portion of America was Mexico. Like
Well, you're talking about the
Almost.
ground. I'm talking about the people.
Well, okay, okay. Let's use your argument external. Even if you go to Texas, like I live in Texas, right? There's nothing but Hispanics.
Oh, there's a
So
lot. Yeah, it's changed a lot. That's a
not well.
it's a great
He said
example.
it changed a lot. No, no. White people immigrated to Texas and those states along, you know, Nevada, fucking California, Arizona. Like that was all Mexican territory at one point. You know,
Right.
but
It's not now. It's part of America. And it was very majority white, but in the last 20, 30 years, I mean, this is why Texas is going to turn blue by 2024, very likely.
I don't think Texas is not going to turn blue.
According
It's
to
not.
demographic change, you can see the counties every 5 years, more and more counties become blue. If that continues as it has been going for the past 20 years, by 2024 it will be blue. If it doesn't change, things just keep going the way they
Texas probably ain't turning blue.
I believe it will.
The only thing though, the reason why it's not turning blue is for two things. The evangelical people invading the Catholic Church and changing the minds of the Hispanic population. That's and evangelicals are Republican. So you have to put that. You also have to put that in mind, and also some of the Hispanics are not really voting anyway. A lot of them not even voting. So you got to put that in perspective as well.
Right, and then there are models that have taken that perspective, and still yet at the latest projection 2030, like it's gonna turn blue. Mexicans vote not as much Democrat as black people do, but I think it's like 65, roughly 65% right now, and it has been. It's very rarely has it shifted.
I'm gonna say this too. I believe that you are looking at this, the build the wall. Y'all are looking at it from a racial aspect.
Absolutely. Race matters. People are not the same, Jay.
Well.
So our ideologies are not the same.
That's true also. Both
but here is
that's, I believe, in my opinion, the only difference between people.
Yeah, but okay, if we gonna sit there and use you are viewing this whole immigration issue as a racial issue when if hold on, if you peel back the onion back a little bit further, you would know though this has more to do about the Catholics versus the Protestants, and I'm gonna tell you why. When they took New Mexico used to be a part of Texas, right? Well, when the American government told Texas you can't claim New Mexico, you can't claim Oklahoma, you got to have your own state. Anyway, they noticed that a lot of Mexicans were in New Mexico, so what they did was that they draw the boundary lines of New Mexico into a box surrounded by deserts and mountains. Why did they do that? To keep the Hispanics in there because they were not. It was not just because they was Hispanic and brown skin. It was because though they were Roman Catholic and America was predominantly a Protestant nation. And they had fears about the Protestant nations in the 1850s. That's why you had the Know Nothing Party of the 1850s and what may have you. Now, do you see my point? And back in 1965, who was pushing the immigration? Who was pushing in the integration bill 1965?
Well, integration is an attempt to get
No,
black.
no. I'm talking about integration. I'm talking immigration bills.
Immigration has always been generally a policy pushed by the Jews.
Oh my God,
that's true, Jay. I can prove that. I'm not scapegoating, Jay. I'm not scapegoating.
Excuse me. Hey, Kenneth Thomas, why don't you join this chat, man? Go ahead and click the link.
They're not my excuse or fall to argument for everything, Jay. When the Jews are actively doing something, they are to blame for that. I will gladly and openly admit that. They have always spent millions and billions of dollars to open America's borders to foreigners. They have been the greatest lobbyists to that endeavor. So if they are doing that, they should be held responsible. So it is mainly Jews who have pushed that narrative. And they infiltrated the Catholic Church in the 70s and during the Second Vatican, and basically destroyed Catholicism from the inside out, and then turned them multicultural as well. And so then they turned on to that whole deal as well. So then they got them on board. And that's why today we have a growing open border policy.
No, okay, hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. Now I'll be equally how you say, sort of, I will attack the Republicans as well, because I don't like the Republicans either. You got to understand, I don't like either of these parties. The Republicans will sell out white America to cheap labor for the corporations. They're not in my best interest.
Well, neither party are in my best interest, you know.
And the Republicans,
that's where we can agree at.
Black people need to realize is that by voting Democrat, you're voting to bring in your replacement jobs as well. All these Mexicans coming in are only going to make your lives just as difficult, if not more than they are now. That's a fucking fact. And then what you have is you had two people who were trying to figure shit out between each other, right? You had white people and black people trying to make things work. And you bring in a third party. And that's just going to make things even better and sweeter? I don't think so. Now you got a trifecta of racial tensions. It's not a good idea. It's one.
I mean, it's not even about that. Like, this country never had my people in its best interest ever. You know what I'm saying? Even now, today.
That's true. I would agree with you on that, because it was created in the original concept of America. It was stated that America was for white men of good character. It's created for white men of good character. And then the Jews, they brought the slaves over. They funded the slave trade 90% and owned and operated it. Okay. So just keeping it real, they brought, the black people over here. And I wish that never would have happened, because then we wouldn't have the problems we have today. But
you wouldn't have what?
This country was built on a lot of white culture and white philosophy, right? Freedom of the individual, ultimate freedom, not use small government. So you can't use the government to oppress other people for their hate speech, or, because we're afraid of guns. Back in the day, white kids used to carry guns to school every day. There were no white shootings, not a one. Every day they go to school with the rifle on their back and go to the target range.
Yeah, but how does Jews have to do with that? I mean, that's like.
I mean, if you got a problem, why not blame it on the Jews? That's what everybody do.
They have a very strong hand in a lot of the problems that we're going through today, especially the dialectic between the political parties. They fund both sides larger than anybody else. They're 2% of the population, but fund 90% of the Republican Party and 80% of the Democratic Party. So either way, they win. It doesn't matter which side wins; they always win. And they're the only people that are allowed to hold dual citizenship in the United States and hold political power. Tell me how that works. Who do they serve? Do they serve Israel or do they serve America? I always wonder that.
Well, you kind of lumping all Jews into one basket, telling
they do it themselves. That's how they are. They're the most ethnically, they are the strongest ethnic group on planet Earth. Like, they stick together like fucking testicles in a ball sack, man. You know what I'm saying? They
Okay,
do this to themselves.
so here is okay then. So what would you like to see to be done? I mean, you know, what do you like to see be done about this?
With what specific issue?
To the quote unquote Jewish problem. What would you like to see happen?
I would like for dual citizenship to be ended if they want to remain in the United States. They have to make a choice. They can't serve two masters, because Jewish interest is often to fight Muslims in the Middle East. Okay, and that's not my interest. I don't want to be fighting Muslims, but I'm forced in my people and my tax money to go all the way over the fucking Middle East to fight wars for a people I don't care about. I don't give a fuck about Jews. I don't care about them. They're not my people. They hate my people. They preach about openly genociding my people. Okay? They believe in the messianic system that says Europe has to be destroyed, white people have to be eradicated from the earth, and then the Messiah will come. Right? And then they will get to enslave all of humanity, and each Jew will get 800 slaves. I am not down with that shit. I do not serve people that believe in such an ideology. And I don't want my taxpayer money going to them. So they need to make a choice if they want to remain in the United States. They need to fucking ditch that shit and ditch their dual citizenship, or they all need to be forced out and sent to the country they now have established for themselves, and they can stop whining about historical oppression. Go to Israel. You got your country. Now America is no longer going to defend you, and you're going to have to fight off all the Muslims you pissed off for throwing us and yourselves in wars against them for so many years. That's what I would like.
Okay, now, okay. Oh yeah, and good question in the chat room, because I was bringing that up. So you voted for Donald Trump, am I correct?
Yes.
Then how can you explain the Trump's daughter Ivanka? But I like to bend her over a couch and, well, you know what? Never mind. I'm just. But
decency, Jay. Decency. Remember decency, Jay.
Yeah. Decency. But the thing is, how can you vote for a man when you know that his daughter is married a person who is of the Jewish faith?
You gotta dude, look, I know it's not an optimal situation. You never get the perfect fucking, person presented to you to vote for. That's the reality. But he promised the wall. And, that's pretty much what I voted on him for. And he was going to cut a lot of useless regulation, which would help sort of release our economic potential by cutting a lot of the regulations, which would allow, us to get more jobs back and for us to become competitive again in the global market, which is what the regulations were really making difficult. So on a couple of those bases, and I could never vote for Hillary. That bitch was fucking psycho. So, but I can't explain, that's his daughter. That's some guilt by association shit. She can do what she wants. Do I think there's a rotten connection in the family to Jews in Israel? I think it's there. Yeah, I do.
Hey, Penny Proud, can you please do me a favor and email Kenneth Thomas the link to the chat? I mean, the hangout.
Also, for those in the chat, you got to remember slavery is an implicitly Jewish thing. Before anyone, historically speaking, the Jews have always practiced slavery. It is a very Jewish thing. It's even part of their messianic expression in the future. All of us, the goy, everyone is a goy. You're either a Jew or you're a goy. According to Jews, we're less than the value of a fingernail compared to a Jew. That means you, that means me. So they can treat us as their slaves. That's in their ideology, okay? And in the future, we all are going to exist to serve Israel and the Jews. That's in their book.
Okay, but then I got to ask this question. Then who are these Jews that who say this stuff? I just want to know, who are these Jews that you say that they believe in a certain ideology, that they want to enslave the world and force people to their will?
Those are Jews who practice and preach and believe in the Talmud and the Torah.
Okay. Okay, so
That's
tell
what
me.
the Hebrew Israelites are always on the corner screaming, you're all gonna be our slaves, all you white babies and white children. We're gonna eat you alive, and we're gonna fuck your women, and you're all gonna be our slaves. That's what they're talking about. Talking about those specific scriptures.
Okay, like I don't take the Hebrew Israelites seriously.
But they're
I
quoting
don't like them.
They're not being crazy. They're just literally quoting scripture. They're not lying. They're being honest. See, the white Jews, right? The white Jews, the ones that are white in complexion, but genetically are not like European. They're more like Syrian and Turkish from that area. So they pass as white, but they're not. They don't openly talk about that stuff because they know it's not going to give them a good look.
No, but for real, there was a general from Israel who said that the Jews left black and came back white. How did this happen? And he said it right after World War II. Like the shit was crazy. But anyway,
yeah, I've heard that before. I can't remember in what context, but I know what you're talking about.
President Nasser.
He meant it may have been kind of a mentality and less a racial thing, but it could have been racial too. I don't know.
Because Nasser, the leader of Egypt during the 50s and 60s, said that he said though the real Jews were black, but these are fake Jews who's coming in are fake, and so forth. That was what Nasser said during the one of the wars with Israel. It was with let me see, what war was that? The Suez Canal incident was when he said that. He said that these are not the real Jews.
So you guys, there's a misconception. A lot of people think Jews are white. Jews, their eternal enemy is me. You got to understand this. Jews hate Europeans and white people probably more than anybody hates anybody on planet Earth. This is something most people have no clue about. They've been at war with white people for thousands of years because every time white people have a country in Europe, they've been kicked out of every territory and country in Europe over history. And after a while, you got to wonder, so say a person goes to 20 parties and they get kicked out of 20 parties. You think it's because those 20 different parties with all those 20 different people and hosts were just being so mean? Or do you think maybe it was a problem with the guest?
I'm going to put it like this, because how can you how can a simple minority is going to be that it's going to start a whole lot of shit? I just don't see it like that.
That's a really good question, and you should try to find. I'm not going to give you the answer to that. You should research and try to find an answer to that if you want to know. Because I think it's better sometimes to discover things on your own, and the answer is very fascinating.
Well, okay. The way I'm looking at it is like this. Okay, the Black Plague. Who they blame the Black Plague on? Oh, the Jews. Who do they blame? Well,
that would be false. That's something where I'll give that to you, Jay. That's true. Because back then Jews were not liked. They were very subversive. They would, they made issues. Let's just put it that way. So any little thing they would blame on them, but historically, of course, that's not true. So yes,
and also the stabbing of the back in World War I.
But hey, let's be fair, Jay. Black people do that with white people a lot too, right? Something goes wrong. Oh, it's whitey. I mean, you say that all the time on your videos. So everybody's guilty of that. Everybody's guilty of that. All groups kind of have a scapegoat. They like to dump everything onto. And I admit, white people do that. We have sort of a knee-jerk reaction to things. The people that are woke, anyways, on the JQ to immediately assume, that it is the Jews. I try not. Anytime I accuse a Jew or the Jewish community of doing something, it's because I know that I can back up what I'm saying. I don't play the knee-jerk reaction, but I will give you that a lot of them do that. They just immediately assume, which is not a good idea.
Well, hold on. You said that I play the race card on white people. No.
I say that you complain that black people do that with white people a lot. Do you understand what I'm saying by that?
Well, I mean, on some of that stuff that's been going down. Yeah, I mean, some people will utter the words white supremacy ad nauseum.
Right, and sometimes they're
And
probably right, and maybe sometimes they're
yeah, well,
probably wrong.
sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're wrong, and that's where I criticize them on is when they're wrong. I'm
Because
only
I
criticizing.
do believe I do believe in so-called white supremacy. It's just my definition is different. I think a lot of people have that word in their mind, and it's just this idea it's just a Hollywood idea. White supremacy. It just means white people that want to lynch black people. Essentially, when they see that word and they hear it, that's what it means. To me, it means something completely different. White supremacy to me is white people in power in an area that they live, and they use that power to build up civilization, and they are supreme in that situation. That is white supremacy.
Okay. If we going to use your logic, then wait, I tell you what, better yet, I ask you a different question. What is your definition of white supremacy then?
He just told you, man.
Yeah, it's for whites to have supreme power over their future and their people and their civilization that they build.
Okay, then, like you should not complain about the Jews then, because they want power over
Well, they have Israel. They're supreme in Israel, and that's great. Good for them.
Yeah, but that goes against the tenets of all the countries within the Western Hemisphere, because in the Western Hemisphere it never was white to begin with, and it was mostly a mixture of people in the New World before the white man or even the slaves came.
Well, I mean, you're talking pre-context of America. I'm speaking within the America context when America was established with Constitution, Bill of Rights.
Okay, well, okay.
Because from that moment, it was colonized and it was a white nation, right?
Yeah, but some of the founder fathers never talked about race like in that aspect.
Sure, they did. Very explicitly. They just don't teach you this at school.
No, I mean, yeah, like the letters between Thomas Jefferson and John Adams about race. Yeah, I saw those letters. I read them.
Well, most of those guys agreed that they thought they all, and they're with me, like slavery was bad. They had them. Some of them did, some didn't. Most of them didn't agree with slavery, but they also didn't believe that the black people ever should have came to America. They thought that was a big mistake.
Hey, Big J.
Even Abraham Lincoln said that. He said Abraham Lincoln he wished he could have all, blacks would all go back to Africa. Good old Abe said that.
Yeah, go ahead though. Hooded one.
Hey, Big J.
Yeah.
Can I get a wrench, please?
Okay. Yeah. I give you a wrench. Hold on.
Thank you.
Now I have the guy Akenroy or Acaroni. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He says the same as Black Power. Like I stand with Black Power people. Those are people who speak my language. Marcus Garvey speaks my language. Malcolm X speaks my language. What's his name? Martin Luther King does not speak my language. I don't like Martin Luther King because he was an ideological crazy man. He was not rooted in the biological reality of mankind. Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, these people understood deeper truths about humans in this world. And they wanted black people to be supreme and powerful and to uplift themselves within their own communities and not have white man involved in their, in their doings. So they could uplift themselves without having, the crutch of the white or any of that. I understand that. That makes sense to me. And I want that. I want black people to have their own country, their own place where they can do what they want, and the white man never be involved in their business. Because if it's the other way around, then whatever goes wrong, my people are always going to get blamed for it, and that's not fair to me either. I don't like to see that.
Okay. Are you looking deeply into the racial aspect of things because it seems like everybody's hung up on race. I'm not that hung up on it.
Well, you don't have to be, but that's a part of the reality that you're going to have to contend with because it's a factor and it's a large factor. It really is. The races aren't the same. They're not. They have different characteristics, different ways of building a nation, and different ideals on how that's supposed to be done. You know, I mean,
what I believe that he just said is that we should not. Hold on. They blame shit on Jews, correct? You know, his, I guess, branch of white nationalists. You know, and they don't want us to blame them the way they're blaming Jews. You know, they don't.
If you're going to put blame on, look, I understand fair blame.
That's exactly what he just said.
It's about fair blame. It's about fairness. Got to be fair. So if there's
how is it not fair
to be had, for instance, white people being blamed from slavery when it was a Jewish enterprise, almost entirely a Jewish enterprise. They placed that blame onto my people. But when you ask the Jew, are you white? No, I'm not white. White people were in slavery. They are putting the blame of their guilt onto my people and then turning you against me.
But internal.
I'm not saying some white people didn't have slaves.
Internal.
Hold on.
Oh, internal. I can understand internal that what you're saying about the Jews part of was part of the slave trade, but
vast majority.
Hold on. When every time I look into my wallet and I see my name, that's a white man's name. My first name, my middle name, my last name is white. That is a white sounding name. Every black person on this soil, well, most of us have at least a Spanish last name or a British last name. So there's no McCline, there's no Goldberg, there's no Philistine, there's no Netanyahu. No, we're having Anglo last names, Western European last names. Some of us come from. I go to Louisiana. There is a black man whose last name is Thibodeau. Well, Thibodeau is a French last name.
Let me give you a.
I mean,
Jay,
hold on. No.
So you can't just sit there
during the slave trade in America.
This guy, he's blaming slavery on the Jews, right?
No, I'm putting blame where it belongs.
All right. So
I'm talking proportion.
How many countries were involved in the slave trade?
Basically the whole. So you had Africa, the West Coast of Africa. So the countries.
Hold on. You can't say that Africans shipped other Africans.
No, they would go to war with neighboring tribes.
Yeah. But you're all right. It was English. It was Portuguese. It was the French, and it was the Dutch.
Right. And the Dutch portion of it, which was a vast portion, was all Jewish. All of it, 100%.
All right. Who do the majority of?
You're not getting. I guess you're not. But you're not getting. Some of us got last names like Smith. Some of us got last names like Lee. Some of us got last names like Wilson. Some of us got last names like I don't know. Shit. You know.
Well, let me give you some statistics. So white people back in the day, of the white Caucasians, about the highest estimate I've seen, the very highest was about 6 to 7% owned slaves, down to the lowest about 2%, at the very height of the operating slave trade in the United States. Now, when you look at 2% of the population, which was the Jewish people at that time, 40% of that 2% owned slaves. They owned over 400 times as many slaves per capita than white people did. So not only did they ship most of them and make most of the money off of them, but they also, as a community, had way more slaves than any other community in the United States.
but you.
It's part of their base, so they are the people who financed it, started it, and had most of them per proportion.
Who was financing it?
What country did these Jews originate in?
Those Jews that were engaged in the slave trade, most were from Britain. Not most, some from Britain, but most of them were in the Netherlands. Netherlands has always had a large proportion.
If most of them are not from Britain, you say, then how come we got British last names?
Because a lot of the people in America had British last names.
Oh my God. Okay. See, it makes no sense with what you're saying. So
you gotta hold on. Let me back up. It will make sense.
From the Netherlands for slavery, most black people have British last names.
Look. Jay, hold on. When you have America comprised of, at that time, about 95% white people, 2% were Jewish, the rest were pretty much black and Native Americans that considered themselves American, part of the Union, whatever that. Okay. When you have that many white people, but only let's go with the 6%, have slaves, most of the last names of those people, if they're given or adopted, are going to be of Anglo-Saxon last name. Now, because 40% of Jews, which is like, oh my God, that's a huge amount, but because it's only 2% of the population, you're not going to end up with as many like Goldbergs or, Feinsteins or whatever, right? And also, something else you have to understand, Jews historically and to this day often will change their last names to subvert and hide their history. They do it all the time. There are so many Jews in Hollywood that don't have Jewish last names, but they're Jews. So that should explain why most of it is Anglo. I'm not saying that white people didn't have slaves. There was definitely white people who had slaves that were not Jewish at all, right? There were black people that had slaves too. In fact,
Those black people were
slave was a black person.
Black people were a vast minority compared to the white people. Like, for instance, in South Carolina, there was only 2 black slaveholders. You know what I'm saying? I read up on it.
Yeah, I mean, most white people didn't get to, like, I hate to say it like this, but benefit from having slaves. Most white people had no idea what it was like having a slave. It was just the plantation owners generally. Jews, on the other hand, that was different for the Jews, though. Their black slaves, some of them were just regular people who would employ slaves for like house cleaning duties just in a regular, suburban area and shit. They're the only ones that did do that.
The truth is, like, Jewish people, did they even have a country back then? Like, where were Jews back then? They were they were over there near Russia. If you, like,
they had
the Jews that you are talking about, they weren't even in the vicinity of England during this time. Like,
they were. The Rothschilds is a Jewish family that's had strong roots in England for a long, long time. They've always had pockets all over Europe.
What was their name? I know of course. What's the name of these Jews? The Ashkenazis? Yeah.
Ashkenazi Jews, yeah.
They were over there near Russia or some shit, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, they started, the Ashkenazi Jew originates from a country that no longer exists called Khazaria. And that's a long story, but that guy essentially converted his whole country into Jews.
Okay. And so that was well before slavery. Well, yeah, that was before slavery even was thought of. You know what I'm saying?
No. Well, in the modern, like the Atlantic slave trade, yeah. That was several hundred years before that.
All right, and so my question to you is that how can these Jews who moved from wherever the fuck they came from, went to Israel, how can they enslave our people and bring them over here if they weren't even in that area at the time?
Well, I mean, the Khazarian Jews, they moved throughout Europe once the Khazarian Empire was basically done away with. And they spread out through, they went on into Russia.
So they came over there after World War II. That was when it happened. That's when they took over Israel. All right. That's when it happened. Now, these Jews had nothing to do with slavery for real. It was the English, the Portuguese, the French. It was
You
these
gotta,
people.
you gotta look into the names and the history of those people. Those were the Portuguese and the Spanish have always maintained an area for Jews, and it was those Jews that financed and spent the money and built the ships and made the captains. They were all Jews. Look into it, my man. I'm serious. Especially in the Netherlands. That was pure 100%. It was a complete monopoly in the Netherlands. The Jews had slavery.
Hold on. Those are the descendants of the Vikings, right? Like
no, those are the Khazarian Jews.
Khazarians?
They're all the same. You know, it's funny because they've done genetic testing, and Jews don't vary anywhere you find them in the world. You can test a group of Jews here in the United States or in any part of Europe and in Russia, and they're almost identical genetically because they're they stay amongst each other. They always interbreed. This is why they have some very degenerate problems. They get a lot of mental sicknesses and some bone degenerative and even blood sicknesses because they have some in-family genetic problems.
Yeah, I understand. Like they breed within Jewish peoples. Like they just breed with each other.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is like they're very close-minded, very close community people, but they tell everybody else you got to be the opposite of us. What's good for us is not good for you. You see, in Israel, they got a big fat wall around their country. They don't open their borders for nobody, but they go into every other country, and what do they tell you? Oh, yeah, man, open those borders. Multiculturalism is great. Oh, yeah. Well, what about Israel? Oh, no, definitely no, not for our country. See, no, we want to stay pure. All you got to mix up. Fuck y'all, because y'all going to be our slaves in the future. None of y'all are going to have a goddamn identity once we mix you all up together. We don't like you having your own identities. If y'all mix up, we open your borders and get the whole world to fuck each other. It's going to be one beautiful monoculture. There's not going to be any other cultures anymore. It's just going to be one mud people, and then we'll be the only ones with a true identity left on planet Earth, and that's how we'll be able to control you all. That's the plan. I like diversity. I don't want us all to mix up. I like the Japanese to be Japanese, and I like their culture because that comes from Japanese people, and I like Europeans. Okay. I don't want to go to fucking Sweden one day and see nothing but Arabs there, and for someone to tell me this is Swedish culture. Fuck off, man. It's fucking Arab now. Swedistan. You know, come on, man.
Okay, but okay, but what about people like Jessica Parker Kennedy? I don't know. There's an actress named Jessica Parker Kennedy. What about somebody like her though? Internal.
You have to tell me. I've never heard of this person. I don't know anything about it.
She is a Canadian actress, and she mixed. What about people like her and Jessica Lucas, Halle Berry? Man, if you ever watch that TV show Black Sails, she is the quote unquote black chick on Black Sails, or the black chick that's on the Game of Thrones. So what? Okay, you want this ethno state? How are you going to do that? Because sometimes though some of these mixed chicks do look black, and sometimes they look white. How are you going to how are you going to I don't know what type of word I want to say.
Determine.
I hear what you're saying. I have a daughter that is white. You know, I know exactly what you're saying. How are you going to differentiate between who or what is what? And I guess his answer would be whomever falls in line behind his ideology gets in. And
that would be wrong because anyone could just say, I agree with your ideology, and then it's no longer an ethno state. You know, you say tomorrow a bunch of Chinese don't want to live in China anymore, and they say, I agree with your ideology. Oh, okay, that means you're white. No, it doesn't work that way.
So what you're saying is that if you got a girl, right, she looks white. She got like a half black mother, but she agrees with your ideology. She's down with that bullshit. You wouldn't accept her?
There's a point where you have to draw a line, of course. You know, I don't know if you're gonna ask me personally. Like, let's say I was to create my ethno state, and I was the one who was going to make the laws and exactly where to draw the line, right? I would draw the line at 75% genetic. If you're 75% white, cool. If you're 25% black, it wouldn't matter, because within a few generations, with all the white people breeding amongst, and that those 75% people will just breed with more white people. Eventually, it won't matter anyway. So,
are you sure about that? Because at some point,
yeah, that's
point, it's going to be,
generations, it would disappear. It would become so. Okay. It's like why a lot of white people have a 1% black. You look at them and you're like, there's no way you can't see it at all, because over generations it just becomes minuscule.
Well, I mean, you got the jawline and the cheekbone and some of that, yeah. But
well, I'm talking.
I mean, black, you could tell someone has a little bit of black.
Because hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I have a thing for mixed chicks, because they look. Because sometimes they have the best of both worlds. I'll put it like that. But that's just me putting out a little humor into the conversation.
It's bullshit, Jay. It mutts. Don't do it. Don't do it. I've done it. Do not do it. Don't do it.
Why not? Why not?
Because they're confused, man. They don't know what they want to be. Well,
hey, interesting.
I'm with.
Oh, that's a problem.
She does not know what she want to be.
It creates an identity crisis with those people, and I think it's
not all of them have identity crisis. Come on, I don't know where y'all get that from, because I've been around.
That's self-reported.
But have you actually been in a relationship with someone that was mixed?
No.
All right. No. Well, I'm telling you, it's an ordeal. Depending on who it is.
I tried to use a few when I was in college.
I mean, I feel sorry for racially mixed people. I do, because it's not. Forget about the internal issue, right? Just think about the external. You got like my people, white people. You're half. Whoa, you're not quite. Sorry. You're not just quite. White. And then you got the black community to be like, oh, you're kind of mixed, huh? You're not really black. I mean, you're black, but you're not really black. It's not always just internal that is the issue. It's external too. Communities, racial groups, they become stronger in group preferential the more in group you are. The less in group you are, meaning the less black you are, the less accepted you will be. And this is the reality of this. Is what I'm saying. Race is real, man. It has real life effects on people. So the race mixed people, they're kind of stuck between two worlds, and that sucks, man. I wouldn't want to be race mixed for that reason. Maybe you do get a little bit of the best of both worlds, and maybe whatever. I'm not going to go there, but let's
man, just. I tell you what. Go ahead, look up excuse me. I'm sorry. Look up Jessica Kennedy, and then you tell me if you look at her from different angles, look at her from all different angles. Boy, she look good. Anyway, I gotta cut this short, y'all. And it's been fun. And I
just wanted to bring the point. Look, you understand there are definitely seriously racist, like I hate niggers, black people or white people in the white nationalist movement. But the general movement I'm just trying to express is that white people just want to have a place for themselves. White people, it's all it is.
Got a place.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
What state do you live in?
No, we don't. We don't, Jay. We don't. Our countries are.
What state do you live in?
You are 69% of the population.
That's not enough. That's not enough. That is not enough. Huh? That is not enough.
69%.
Dropping.
Hold on. You used 5%, and you've grown to 70%.
We were 95% about less than a century ago.
No, y'all were 400 years ago or 500 years ago. Y'all was 5% of the population. Now y'all are still Now y'all are at 70, a little bit under 70%.
Yeah, less than 100 years ago, we were about 90. The consensus was between 90 and 95%. And in Europe, even better, it was like 99%. Those are what I call healthy white nations, and that's what I would like. I don't want my nations to become under threat of existence.
Other nations
under threat of existence. My genetic lineage and gene pool. For instance, like I don't want panthers to go extinct. I don't want white people to go extinct. Panthers to remain existent, they need to have their habitat, not introduce foreign animals that will breed them out of extinction.
Well,
I think this is a paranoid like way of viewing the world.
Sure, it is. It is like when you're under threat, when your people is under a very real threat of existence.
But this threat is the same way.
Yeah,
if you're 70% of the population and you're fearing to go extinct, that's just paranoia.
If you're
you paranoid. You
would understand if your demographics were on the decline. You would be concerned too.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Internal. Everybody's in the Western world's numbers have been going down. So what are you talking about? It's not like the African American population is growing.
No. We're being genetic replacement. On current projections of at the longest about 1,000 years from now, white people will be on the brink of extinction.
I doubt that. I highly doubt that.
That's statistics and the natural playing out of the way things are going.
Based upon who internal? Based upon who internal?
Based on statistics.
No. I want the general. I want the specific studies that said white people are going.
Okay, look. Based on the birth rates of people that are being brought into Western countries, forced into Western countries, and based on the birth rates of the people that are there.
All right, that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like, if you're stripped from a
Excuse me. If you really want,
when whites become a minority in a territory, they then get genocided. It's happened many times. So there's that problem.
To the guy who said, did I miss the cooking? Yes, you did miss the cooking because I cooked and baked that fat ass. Oh well, I can't really say it to the B word like I really want to because you know what? But you know what? I'm going to do my live streams on Gab though. I have to go on Gab and do my cooking on certain people because like they can't flag it over there at Gab.
See, 3% of the world population. You want to talk about minorities? White people are the minority on planet Earth. They are. There is no greater minority on planet Earth than white people. We are the minority.
Guess what? Hold on. Who invented the birth control thing?
You know, it's like we are the minority, so we should be the ones with the minority card on this planet, but we don't get it. We're the eternal racists, you know. So it's okay to not care about us and our future and our existence.
Banking institutions and military problems.
No, that's the Jews, man. The Jews own the banking institutions.
No. The Jewish card, though. Card played out.
They own the IMF. That's an International Monetary Fund. It's headed by all the Jews and one Chinaman. Okay, it's all Jews. Don't even try to tell me white people own the banking system. That's laughable. That's all Jews.
You live in a nation that has 70% Caucasians, Europeans. You have 43 presidents in a row that are white men.
Yeah, and that's
43 presidents were white.
You're not looking at what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Things are changing, and if they continue to change, look, I know you don't care about white people in our future. I don't expect you to, but that's what's happening.
No, it's not that internal.
I do care, and that's why I want to create a place
internal,
where our genetic pool can remain safe from destruction. And I want the same for everybody on planet Earth because I'm a person.
But internal.
I love differences in culture and people. In order to have those differences, people need a place to maintain their existence and their culture. I don't like McDonald's monoculture over the whole world. And if we open all of our borders and everybody race me, there's not going to be a lick of difference between any human being on planet Earth. It's going to be one ugly, boring, fucking people that are all the same with the same culture. I don't want that. No thanks.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, Jay. That's exactly what's going to happen. You just got to think a little bit further than the light.
You know why? No, hold on. But you know what? But you know why? You know why it's not going to happen, Eternal. You know why it's not going to happen? Because in this country, people have choices to be with some people. Most people are going to date and marry people of their own group. So you know, this whole notion that you think that the white population is going to fall off the planet is not really accurate. And I'm going to say this:
we had a much larger portion of the world's percent of people. It has dropped to half in about a century of what it was. If you keep going with that, Jay, do you see where it happens? That half drops by half, and that continues until gone, Jay. You don't want to see the reality. That's fine, but that is the reality. It's called a downward trend. The trend is just dropping off.
Paranoia. You are paranoid. You're paranoid. External. You're paranoid.
That's observing objective reality. And you know what? Being paranoid is a human response to a threat. If there is a threat to your existence, the natural response is to become paranoid. That's natural. That's why humans become paranoid, because they're under threat. You can be irrationally paranoid, or you can be rationally paranoid. I'm rationally paranoid because I know the statistics.
I don't think so.
No, you're not. But you're not rational.
How am I irrational?
Not going extinct. If you, the motherfucking American Indians have a right to be paranoid. You don't.
How so?
All right.
After everything, why should I just feel safe?
The only group in America that should be paranoid is the natives. They should be the only ones to be paranoid at this point, because their numbers are dropping. The black population is stabilized. Y'all, the white population is dropping down a bit.
Oh, that doesn't count.
I can't take your argument.
So another people's plight does not count.
No, you just admitted it. What natives population dropping, they could be paranoid. White people population, no, they can't be paranoid.
You can't be paranoid because you're more than half of the population.
You don't have
to. Under population. So if you set
in 20 years, predicted why you care about the population. Is it okay for me to be paranoid then?
Okay. You know what? But you know what? I got. There's some things I got to do, and I hate to cut this off. I hate to do this, but I have to cut this. I have to end the show early because people like to call me, text me. Well, can you come over and do X, Y, Z? I guess I have to go ahead and end this show. I thought I had some free time to myself, but people want to call me, to do some other shit. But hey, anyway, I might do this tonight or next weekend or so. So I'm out. But hey, I'm glad I cooked this person. Her ass need to be cooked. So I'm out of here, y'all. I'm done.
All right, it's been good speaking to both of you.
You too. Have a good night, guys.
Peace out.